Martin.
So I think he's out of Beyond Tepic.
This is not a real countdown. You're already live, by the way.
Yeah, no, I heard that. I listened to one. I was like, I gotta listen to one podcast and
See what's up, what's going on out here, how we're doing it. We are right on time here at the Parkway Automotive Studios, just after 2 o'clock, like we always do, somewhere around 2. We say 2 p.m., but that's because we want you in here watching it. You know what I'm saying? We can't.
Hey, there's already people in there.
Talking to an empty auditorium. I mean, I will, but it's not necessarily what I want to do. My man.
Introduce your guest.
like, oh, cool.
We got Isaac, obviously.
Randall.
Oh, wait, there's people behind me. Oh, no, it's just talking. Travis, Randall, RTB, Travis Burton. My buddy. We've been buddies for a while now. When I trained last in Georgia, we were on the same team at Rush MMA in Macon. Super cool dude. He's opening his own school now in Byron.
In Byron, Georgia, yep. Mm-hmm.
And it is going to be BBJJ.
BBJJ.
Burton.
Yeah, I didn't think that BJJ had enough B's in it, so I was like, we'll just add an extra one.
Hey, yo, I heard you like bees. So
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going to put something. I'm just saying. No, but it's really cool. Travis, I remember almost when he started, you don't really remember white belts when they start, when you're a purple belt, unless they stay forever. But then you really don't remember them in the beginning, from the beginning, unless they're a little exceptional in some way.
It's funny you say that because I remember, as a white belt, whenever you meet a purple belt, back whenever I started, it was like a unicorn almost. Like our head coach was a purple belt at the time. But I think by the time you came on, I don't know if he was still a purple belt or if he'd already gotten his brown.
It was right about the same time-ish.
But I remember
But that was just, again, a formality of the
But I remember walking up to Steven and I was like, "Hey, my name's Travis," and he goes, "Oh, you're probably gonna quit anyway."
Did I really say that? I probably would.
It was stuff like that. Hey, yeah, like come a couple more times. That way, I'll remember your name when you come back. And I was like, that's the realest thing anybody's ever said to me. So now a lot of people introduce themselves to me, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna forget that immediately. I'm like,
just tell me again.
Yeah,
just come back and tell me again.
Just keep coming, and I'll remember it. So
it's true. So yeah, did you come? Well, yeah, of course it was before the downtown move. I don't know. I can't remember if you were there already before I moved up there. I think you were already training some.
Yeah. I'd already started training.
Maybe that's why I don't remember.
And I think Michael Connell of Port City Jiu-Jitsu, I think he had moved over, and I think you might have came slightly right after him, or
right about
vice
the same
versa.
time.
So, yeah,
a little bit after. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started at the Thomaston location, and there I got my white, my green, and my blue belt. And then at the downtown location, I got my purple and brown belt. So
nice. Yeah, that's right. Because I was living in Valdosta, and then before, we didn't intentionally, I guess, move all the way to Macon just for training at Rush. But Bubby had came down to the gym we were at and taught some seminars, I guess, for us a couple times. So I'd already trained with him, so I knew how good he was and been around him and stuff. So, man, he got the opportunity to come to work up in Macon, so we jumped on it, and I came up there and we started training at Rush, and through just like time, like of course, like we say, right, just truly, you gradually just made yourself one of the better guys in the room,
Yeah. And I don't think people realize but just you saying that whenever you were like, oh, I'm probably not gonna remember you. I was like, you know what, this guy is gonna know me, and it kind of even motivated me to keep training because I was like, why don't people not to know my name? I want people to come in, and now I'm in like a position where every time I go to train, there's white belts that walk up to me like, "Hey, you're Travis," and I was like, "I've never seen you before. I don't know how you know my name." So it's
the legend.
Pretty cool. So
yeah, no, but so like you met your wife at jiu-jitsu, correct?
Yeah. So jiu-jitsu. I guess if we're just gonna talk about jiu-jitsu.
I'm sorry. We're just gonna talk about you.
I just made a video. That's one thing about opening a gym is making like promotional stuff. And Dana's like, talk about it. And I was like, trying to tell my story about why I started jiu-jitsu. And jiu-jitsu has really just changed my life just in general because whenever I moved to Macon, I moved down to Middle Georgia back in 2010. I was working at a sandwich shop, and my brother's like, "Hey, I'm in the Air Force. Moved down here. There's more jobs." So I came down here, started working at an insurance company. I don't know if
you can say whatever you want.
So I moved down here to work at Geico, And I realized like at
Sounded
work,
hateful.
at work, well, at work, I had a lot of friends, but I realized I didn't have a lot of friends outside of work. And I was also kind of living a healthy lifestyle. Like I was just said, I was like smoking a lot of cigarettes. I was drinking a lot. I was partying a lot. And then I was like, I need to do something healthier. And I've always liked MMA and I've always liked strike. Like I did some like cardio kickboxing stuff. And I was like, let me do something real. So that's when I Googled mixed martial arts in Middle Georgia. And then I found Rush. And it just kind of happened from there. I made a lot of friends. I met my wife in jiu-jitsu. So if I never found jiu-jitsu, I never met my wife, would never had my kids. So
it's weird, right?
Pretty,
it's kind of crazy how that goes sometimes. Yeah, that was really cool to see that kind of develop and happen like in front of everyone, and you guys have a beautiful little family and a little farm.
Yeah, it's weird, I guess, meeting somebody at the gym because like me and Dana, she trained for like 3 years and everybody was like, why don't you date Dana? And I was like, well, if we dated, then if we broke up, she would have to leave the gym. Is what I would tell people.
For sure.
And she would have to leave because I was here first.
Obviously.
And obviously that's how it works. We can't just train together.
You have to fight over it at least or something,
And then
hope that
people
you're better.
And then people would ask her the same thing, and she would pretty much tell them the exact same thing, but we didn't know people were telling each other. Like, I knew what I was saying to people. I didn't know she was saying that same thing to people. And then one day we just like, we decided to date, and we were like, oh, well, we can't. Now we're too stubborn. Like, we got to stay together now.
Prove the point.
Yeah, because we can't leave each other because then somebody'd have to leave the gym, and we like each other too much. So.
And so now they just created their own gym.
And
together,
now we have our own gym, yep.
Which is super cool, man. I love stories like that, honestly. Like, those are the best kind of jiu-jitsu stories. Of course, everybody wants to be like the world champion guy and the medals and all that kind of stuff. But, like, I mean, you built like a real family through jiu-jitsu. And that's what we all talk about and say. It's like the family. But, like, you really did found, like, your actual family through jiu-jitsu. So that's amazing. Like, you know what I mean? That's really cool to me to think about that like that.
And I guess that's something, like, one of the reasons, like, I was, like, I really wanted to open a gym was because I was, like, this wasn't just a sport to me. This is, like, a community. Like, you can build a life around this sport and have friends, have fun. I mean, it's great, so.
For sure. And so when did you start training, did you say?
I want to say 2011 or 2012.
Okay, wow.
If I could figure out how old Wee Wee is, Bubby's daughter, I started training this. Oh, my niece just turned 9, so a little over 9 years.
Do some math.
So I started training right before she was born. Because I remember Wee Wee was born, and then my niece was born. So
okay.
So 9 years now, so not quite 10. So
funny. Wow, that's a long time now.
Yeah.
And that's cool, man. That's cool. And so you're predominantly a gi player?
So recently I'm starting to love a little no gi a little bit more. But we do gi. Like, I love gi. My heart's always been in the gi. So so at our gym, most of our classes are going to be gi class because I know more in gi, and so that's what I feel more comfortable with. But like, I've been sneaking off to your gyms Friday mornings, and then I've been sneaking off to Rush Friday mornings as well, and they do no gi, and so I'm just starting to see what the crave is in the whole no gi kick. But gi's where
it's not a kick, man. It's not a phase.
It is. It'll switch back to gi eventually. Not for you guys, but for like
me,
us.
For life, son. Got Thug Life tatted on my chest.
I don't know if I get one of those supernatural gis. I'm just gonna say, if I get one of those supernatural gis and they're as comfortable as they are, I mean, y'all might buy one.
I'm not even sure.
Y'all might be like, hey, these are so
only reason he has gis is because it's cold in Canada.
Oh yeah, true.
So wears hoodie with a gi.
Yeah. And that rash guard and shorts were the most comfortable I've ever purchased. So shout out Supernatural if y'all want to sponsor me.
Hey, holler at my boy Kent. You know what I mean? Kent's a good friend of ours.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Good quality stuff.
I try to hit him up for his secrets. I was like, hey, if I want to start doing rash guards and shorts, how'd I do it? And he's like, you got to research a lot of companies. I'm like, what do you use? And he's like, oh, I can't tell you that.
You got to, exactly.
That's my good stuff.
Right.
I was like,
It's like, here, let me tell you exactly my manufacturers and
yeah.
who
I was like, I want the shortcut.
You know
you just tell me who you use.
That'll cost $100,000, Mr. Burton.
100 million, 100 billion
Canadian.
Yeah, I don't even know what they use. Are they on the euro? Is that what they use?
Sure.
I think they're Canadian.
They just have their own
dollars.
money?
We'll send
Okay.
them some euros now. Yeah, they're under the rule of the Queen.
The
think
European.
sure,
Wait,
yeah.
the Queen has nothing to do with the European Union.
Look it up,
Well,
bro.
This is too
Look
deep.
it up,
Yeah.
bro.
Okay, all right. Well, you'll have to occupy the dead air for a second. Occupy dead air.
Hey, we
Oh,
have
who is
people
this
here. Why
people?
can't they
Oh,
do it?
that's the Mandy and they're talking. We're just talking trash. The Queen obviously has nothing to do with anything now, unless you believe what Isaac believes. Either way, dude, obviously they have nothing to do with this. You really Google it. You're gonna find like they're lizard people. And stuff.
I'm not Googling. I'm DuckDuckGoing.
It's
Thank you.
Canadian
Okay.
Canadian dollars. I'm sure
No, I think they go off the euro. Still don't
they speak French in territories of the.
In Quebec, they do.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
see.
They have their own thing.
Yeah, they definitely have their own thing.
So-
They certainly do.
It is divided by 100 cents. They're just copying us.
Yeah.
America light.
Okay.
I mean,
So
Sorry, Canadian
back
fans.
back to the point.
What was the
what was
point?
the
I have no idea.
There's
We ended up on Canadian dollars.
Oh,
and
we're
I
trying to
got
get
hung.
sponsorships. We're trying to get
we like
Supernatural,
clothes. Yeah, rash guards are
Send us
better than
geese, free
geese.
geese
Yeah,
and
no
free-
geese,
no.
right? No geese is the point.
Yeah,
I think that's
okay.
where we were going with that. You can wear the gi. if
No,
you
we
want
need
to.
more geese. All the geese.
Oh, I mean, dude, if you like the gi, that's okay. I just moved away from that style once I got exposed to this and really like fell in love with it deeply. And I just don't enjoy the gi as much anymore. I would train in it if it was the right opportunity or whatever came up, but it's just not what I want to put my energy into. It's not what makes me the most happy.
Yeah.
And so since there is an opportunity to have an options, then I choose to have this option. And you're a few minutes up the road from us on 75, so you are a different option that the people in the area can have. So if you like the gi, Travis has some really good gi stuff, and then he'll be obviously sounds like adding to his no gi arsenal over the time to start so it's cool, man. It's like this is the way things are going here in the area. There's a lot of really high level guys starting their own space with their own ideas, and then like you do, you're adding to your arsenal right now. And so that's all stuff that you'll be able to share with your students and teach. It's just like the blending of the styles essentially. Kind of like in a weird way, you're doing a little bit of what I did.
Yeah.
Like at Brown Belt or whatever, I was moving out there, and then I jumped into the 10th Planet system. But I had spent 3 or 4 years with the guys at Rush, with Bubby and them. So basically, you're just learning what I learned, and then still training with the Rush guys. So you're just adding.
Yeah, I'm trying to switch it up.
It's
I'm
like-
trying to change
That's
my
cool,
game
man.
up,
It's
so.
cool. No, there's a lot of stuff that really was effective that I remember that we were learning before over at Rush. That's really good because Bubby was a high level dude. Like he's a good coach. He was a good competitor. He still probably is a good competitor if he wanted to go out there and do it. He just does so many other things too. It just doesn't not what he wants.
Yeah,
to do.
that
So-
guy has definitely stretched himself thin. Like he's coaching. Kira is doing is
She's
wrestling
crushing it, though.
for
She's
Mount
crushing it.
DeSales, I believe. I think that's the school she's doing.
I think
She's
so.
but they're like almost building a wrestling program around her, and I was like, man, it's a lot of stress. But she's like holding it. She's just crushing people, man. She just kills.
Yeah, dude, I remember seeing her little butt scooting up and down the mats and
Yeah,
stuff, and just being around, and it's cool. It's cool to see it grow into what it is now, where there's Q's a black belt now. There's several. How many other is Josh a brown belt now too? Right?
Yeah. So Q's are black belt. Josh is brown. I'm brown. Lindsey Jones just got his brown.
Lindsey's a brown
So,
now.
The forever
Little 16-year-old
man,
Lindsey.
Yeah, dude. He's
not 16
a beast.
anymore.
Yeah, he definitely is. He is definitely a killer. It makes you feel good whenever he I don't know. I guess like in the whole belt system, whenever you have like lower belts just like crushing you all the time, like blue belt and purple belt, he was just killing us. And it's like
I'm glad I beat him up when I
like,
could.
give me one.
No.
Somebody promote that kid.
Yeah.
So.
I got him when he was young. Now he can't come after me. It's like, oh man,
Yeah.
I'm old, bro. Don't come after me now.
So whenever I started, he just like got I think it was Nogi Pans.
Yeah, he was like a 12-year blue
champion.
belt.
Yeah, he was like just crushing people.
Yeah.
So he's always crushing.
He's
me. I've
wrestled.
never-
Dude, he helped
I've
me with
never
my
got
wrestling
one
a
of him.
ton. We used to do a lot of like one-on-ones
Yeah.
on the weekends and stuff. We go to this place that he did wrestling like with his high school team, and we would do just one-on-one like wall fighting for an hour or open mat where he would just beat me up for if he wanted to, but he would teach me to. He wasn't just like roughing me up and stuff, which was hilarious is that he could at that point for sure with just wrestling and stuff. once he figured out how to punch, it was really scary
Yeah.
to train with him because he became a little man all of a sudden. It was like, all right,
Yeah, right.
stop.
To see him fight is just crazy because he's just so talented. It's crazy to see just like those talented guys. Like you're like, oh, I'm training with these guys all the time, and then
Toro Loco.
just to see him like turn loose on somebody, you're like, oh, it's amazing. So
Yeah, exactly. The levels, man, and your buddies, to see your buddies doing good.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. That's why the sport in this community vibe is so cool, because we really do care about each other. You know, people that are your teammates and your family like that, you know, and seeing everyone now, you know, finding their own lanes and niches, the people that stayed true to it at least and kept hustling. It's really, really cool. So what are some of the things that you think you have as goals for your school? What are some of the, like, I don't know, give me a couple of things that you think are really important for your school maybe?
Well, right now, you know, we kind of just started, so I like my main focus is trying to get us up and going. But I really would like to get like a good competition group going. Like because I like that, like my school, the way I want to run is a lot like Rush, because that's what I've always been with. I want some gritty jiu-jitsu players. We have a good mix of like wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and that's something that Bubby's always taught us. So, and I just want to show people. Like, kind of like I was just listening to Richard's podcast. Like, I just want people to see like how fun jiu-jitsu can be and how much it can just change people. Like, I know my confidence is soared through the roof since I started jiu-jitsu. I'm definitely not the kid like that 9 years ago stepped into the gym. I say kid, but I was like, I guess I was 23, 24 at the time. I was an adult.
Were not, you're not a man like you are now.
I was
dude.
a kid.
Not
I was still a kid.
You know?
I
I
always think about that now. I was like, man, you know, I feel like you're a kid until you're like in your 30s.
You would totally pump that Travis if you saw him now. You would just
yeah.
walk up to him and be like, "You little bitch."
Yeah. I definitely would beat up white belt Travis. I think blue belt Travis is probably a little bit tougher.
Was
but
he pretty
white belt
tough?
Travis, I definitely beat up.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I wonder about that too. I think blue and late blue belt Steven would be pretty hard to handle too at this point.
Late blue belt Travis, because that was like
I'm not so eager.
Yeah, I feel like late blue belt Travis was like laying the hammer down, because I remember when it clicked, like a lot of jiu-jitsu clicked for me was when I went to a Dustin Dennis seminar.
A 36-hour triangle seminar.
36-hour triangle seminar. Because after I left that, I was like, man, my jiu-jitsu is so much better, and I just felt like it just grew. And then like I got my purple, and then I was like, I started to relax a little bit more. As I started to come down, I was like, okay, now I'm just doing it. So
I think I remember. I think I was. I'm pretty sure I was in San Diego. But I remember hearing about that
Dude,
seminar. It was like the most epic triangle seminar ever.
It was like, great, man.
People were dying.
If I could go to a Dustin Dennis seminar every day, I would do it, because we did one triangle the whole time, and he'd be like, "Okay, guys," it was like a 3-hour seminar, but we did the same triangle every time, and he would say, "Hey guys, okay," he's like, "Come here and show you the next move," but it was the exact same triangle, but he's like, "There's a little detail you're all missing," and so we would do that detail, and then we'd go do the triangle, and then we'd come back. And then he'd be like, "Okay, next move." And it's the same triangle, just another detail. And he did such a great job, because he would walk around, like as you're doing it, he's like, "Hey, one of your hands are empty." He's like, "What are you doing? Signing autographs with that? You're not a world champion yet. You need to, he's like, "You're not a world champion. Stop, use both your hands until you're a world champion." So it was just really cool to kind of get in that mindset, like, oh, you got to always be active and always thinking, because if you're not, you're just going to get destroyed. So
interesting. Very interesting.
And everybody at the end of the seminar, because we always felt bad, because he'd be like showing us something and he'd have us in the triangle, and we're like, well, we can't tap because he's talking, but like even just like the transitions to the move would make you go to sleep, and we're like, we can't tap because he's talking to somebody, but like, so we would fall asleep, and like, so I think everybody at that seminar went to sleep at least 3 to 4 times. And I remember our brown belt.
That's why they all thought it was so long.
Yeah.
It was like 6
We all took
days.
so many naps. Like, we're still here.
I was there for weeks.
No wonder it was life changing. You went to the spirit world.
Yeah.
like 4 times.
Yeah. And I remember Deo, he, like, it was funny seeing him the next day, because not only did he go to sleep, but he had busted like blood vessels under his eyes from being choked out so much. And like, he had like black eyes the next day. I was like, from just triangles, it was so intense.
Just come try the gentle sport, bro.
Yeah.
Just try it.
Oh, it's fun, guys. It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah. So that's the kind of school you're going to run? Exactly like
Definitely.
that. Eye popping.
People will be
triangles.
going to sleep a lot.
They're going to be dying to stay.
No, we keep it
Or
pretty good. I really
staying to die.
So
Or
one
what?
thing I've done for a long time is our kids class. Like
That's right. That's right.
So I was
You were the typical blue belt kids
like,
coach, right?
Yeah, I was the blue belt kids coach, and I did that for a long time, pretty much until we had our first kid. I was pretty active in the kids program at Rush. Since then, Ralph's taken over, and John and Angel. So they're all doing really good. But so that was something. Whenever I opened my gym, it's like I want a really good kids program because I love teaching kids, and also I have kids. So I was like, well, I want them to do jujitsu growing up, and I want them to see how other kids are having fun, and that it's not just something that I have fun doing. And then in both my kids, well, my second kid's a little bit more high energy than my first kid. But my first kid, like he'll see the 3 to 5 year old class and he'll run and jump and start doing bear crawls and forward rolls. I'm like, oh, you're doing better than some of our 4-year-olds. So like, I can't wait until you're actually 3, and then I can make you stay through the whole class. So
Your own are tough to wrangle sometimes
Yeah.
in there once they've had that freedom. I feel like sometimes.
that's another thing. I was like, do I teach these kids, or do I say, hey Dana, will you take them up to Rush to train, or we take them somewhere else to train, just so, because I know me, if my parents were to teach me jujitsu, I probably wouldn't listen to anything they say. I'd be like, nah.
So that's a lot of what I kind of feel like sometimes with Thomas for sure is that we don't connect sometimes because of the carryover from everything
Your
else.
everyday life. Yeah.
And then, so we have different coaches, Jimmy coaches mostly, and then David's there every day now. And then I help again. I'm back in there. I had to kind of step away from it though for a while because it was starting to get, it was too much. I've never really taught
It's a
kids.
lot, yeah.
I thought it was going to be pretty easy. You just go in here and you tell them to do the moves, and they were going to start doing moves. But there was such a range of ability levels and things like that. Kind of like you're saying, some of the kids couldn't front roll yet, and some of them had been training for a year and knew enough to be grappling live already, kind of, and so they were getting bored. And then I would talk too much because I'm like talking, and, and then the kids are just like, oh, so too much. And so we let them do it, and now I feel like it's doing way better. Like Richard did it for a while, and before he started to open up his school. But it's a special craft to be able to teach the kids and to be able to manage the room and make sure everybody's like doing the right thing and staying on task.
And kids are just, it's fun, and just to see them, and like I like just having the kids come in, like, cause like they're really excited, but you got to keep such a close eye, not like adults, like you got to keep an eye on them, cause like an adult you'll be like, hey, this will hurt you, but then kids will just go, like I have this one kid right now who is just, when he came in, I was like, oh, this is gonna be my shy kid, and after like a week, he like warmed up, and now when we do like the sumo game where you push the kid out of the ring, and then we went to takedowns, and whenever we went to takedowns, this kid like a switch hit in his head, and you were like, oh my gosh, he's going to kill all these other little kids if I keep letting him do this. So you got to pay so much more attention to kids, I feel like. And adults, you can kind of let them start to do their own thing. But then I guess like when you were talking to Richard about how like sometimes adults, you teach them, and it's something that you talked about a couple Fridays ago when I was at your school, is like when you're not getting step 1 through 4, and then you're jumping to step 9, and you have kids have adults do that a lot. Like kids, they'll kind of focus on what they're doing, but adults really are like, they'll run away with it if you let them. So.
For sure. Everybody, Captain White Belt, kind of guy. Oh yeah, for sure. They're everywhere.
And I used to do that too. And I remember Cole walking up to me one time when he was teaching a class, and he goes, what you're doing right now is not wrong, but it's not what we're doing right now. Yeah. Like you got to know this. Like what you're doing is not wrong. Like it's cool. Just don't do that because that's not what we're doing. And you can do that some other time. So.
Yeah, it's my time, not your time. Yeah, and that's the thing is like there's days that I like to give that freedom to the people and let them choose their own story, at the end of the class. But I feel like I want to make sure that everybody's getting the majority of what I really like. I don't really necessarily want you to have this specific sequencing per se. Like you could do your handoffs different, or like the transition could be a little bit different ordered, but the main things are probably, I don't know, lately we've been doing a lot of rubber guard, so it's been like the frame and getting the correct angle of your hip and stuff like that, instead of relying so much on flexibility and different things. So trying to figure out as many ways as I can to present that idea to everyone over and over throughout the month so that they'll understand, you know, what a frame is and how it works. So that way, when we use a frame next month for something, they'll understand that part maybe already. And so then I don't have to spend another month talking about frames. You know what I mean? But in reality, you'll always have to talk about frames and hip escapes and Granbys and different types of guard because somebody else did it to them, and you'll have to go, like, you know, unwind this really crazy stuff that a blue belt did to a white belt, and it doesn't make any sense, you know. And I was like, I'll just punch them like that, and it's over, son. But you know, that's not what we're doing either. But
and it's pretty crazy as you go through jiu-jitsu. Like, I feel like when I started, it was mostly
guard.
Huh?
I don't know. I was just off in my head. I was in my head again.
Oh, like I feel like when I started, it was mostly like drill technique, and it's kind of like I guess I don't know if now that I'm a higher level and now I'm focusing more on conceptual stuff. So like whenever you let them go loose, or we go loose on a move to kind of like figure out the concepts, kind of like feel the pressure, feel how it's going. That's where my kind of focus is at now. So it's pretty crazy. Kind of going through the levels of jiu-jitsu. So
that was one of the things I talked about with one of the guys that trains with us now, Joe. He's a brown belt from a gi school. Really good though.
See the dude that kept armbarring me the other morning?
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
dude. He's got this nice from bottom when you turn up on your side to like shrimp. He's got like a good. He kept getting me in it. I kept getting out, but I was like, man, this is tight. Like,
okay.
I think I kept getting out. I probably did.
Maybe. That's okay. We don't have to talk about the training room too much.
Yeah. He beat me up.
Joe's tough. But the thing that I was going to say is that we talked about kind of what you were saying a little bit, but like, what do you think for you over the years? Let's say, what was the main focus for white belt Travis? What were you? Can you remember, like, when you were training, when you were a white belt, what you thought was the most, not what you think now. Yeah. Do you remember like what you thought then?
What white belt Travis thought was like, man. So I remember it because when I went to the gym, I was like, okay, what are the belt levels? And I know like now, like people were like, oh, whatever, your belt doesn't really matter. It's just like that you're having fun and you're doing it. But like when I came in, I was like, okay, well, I'm a white belt, and there's still a lot. Like most of the people that I trained with when I started were green belts, and I was like, well, what's the belt levels? And they're like, well, it's white. American Top Team does the green belt, so it's white, green, blue, purple, brown, black. So I was like, well, I want to be a green belt. And I was like, so I got to train. I want to be like these guys. And then I guess kind of pretty much up until I got my blue belt, I was like, I want to be that next belt level. And I got my blue belt, and I was like, okay, well, most people are blue belts. So I was like, now it's time to relax because I'm there. I've made it. I've done it. And then I was like,
funny.
And then I started seeing a lot of purple belts, and I was like, oh, well, these guys are beating me up pretty bad. So I was like, well, now I want to get to that level. And then I think like a blue belt is kind of like, okay, or a purple belt, I was like, okay, well, now I just going to keep training and just have fun with it.
Just a laugher now.
Yeah.
Just committed to the game. I think that's kind of what happens for a lot of people is like, and this is where I guess the joke about the blue belt happens, because a blue belt can be several years long, and you could really just burn out, you know, and just get tired of it. Or like you said, you just kind of feel like you know it all. Not that you're the best or anything like that, but you've just kind of seen it, you know, and done it a bunch of times, and it's just not that fun anymore. But then when the guys, like, they push through that and make it to purple, a lot of times, you know, that they end up being a lifer a lot of times. People do drop out, obviously, still for other reasons, but it's rarely because they just lost passion for it or something like that at that point.
Yeah. And I think that's what kept me motivated is I was like, I hated being that like person where people were like, oh, well, everybody quits at blue belt. And I was like, well, I'm not everybody. So I got to at least get my purple belt. And then I was like, well, now I'm too far into it. I got cauliflower ear. And Eric Trudell used to say, if you got cauliflower ear,
oh my God,
if you got cauliflower ear and you're a white belt and you quit, then you're just a white belt with cauliflower ear. So you at least got to wait until you get your black belt. So that way you can say, yeah, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I got cauliflower ear too.
Trudell. I miss you, Trudell. You're probably not watching this, dude. I miss you, though.
We all miss Trudell.
Golly, that dude in the gi used to destroy my spirit routinely.
He was one of those people, like you say, blue belt, you stay there a long time. He was a blue belt
forever.
For a very long time.
Yeah. I was a purple belt, and he was a blue belt. And in the gi, for sure, there was no real way that I could do much to him hardly even by the time I was leaving, like it was hard.
Yeah.
But anytime we did no-gi, your boy was on him. He was long and strong, and he was down to get some friction on with the gi. But once you took that off, your boy was hitting the corners on him. So it was really interesting. Like he was one of the first guys that I realized the difference in what happens with the gi versus no gi, because he could toy with me in the gi almost a lot of times because of his grips and length and stuff like that. But then when you took that away, he didn't have it. Yeah. And that's what, I didn't know, like, I just thought it was him, that was, that like that way. But I think there was a lot of people that were kind of probably would still be that way, in the same way, just like now, I think I said that in class this morning. If I went and put the gi on now, people would probably, a good blue or purple belt would probably catch me with some gi stuff that I'm not like savvy to anymore or don't really pay attention to that much. So, it's not an indictment one way or the other necessarily. It's just like interesting you said his name. I haven't thought about him that much in a long time, but he was really like, of the people I've trained with, like, yeah, he was one of the guys that gave me the most trouble ever. Consistently.
He was definitely difficult because, like, I remember it was a white belt. He left, and I remember he came back to train, and I was like, well, I'm a blue belt now. I should be able to stand some up with Trudell. Nope, not at all. Like, it was the same thing. Just smash. He just smashed me. But now, Trudell, I mean, if you're listening, I'm a brown belt now. If you want to come back?
Why don't you come back to Middle Georgia, Trudell? There's a couple of us that miss you. We would like to get you a visit.
We miss you. You and Adam Butler.
Somebody said, butt face. I wonder. Butt face. He probably put you in some closed guard and
he definitely
some cross
collar.
They
both
stuff.
would definitely probably still smash some pass.
I'm not putting on clothes if y'all come though. I promise. Not doing it. Not with those two. They gotta come.
Wrestling.
Yeah, they gotta come shirtless. It's the only way I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think.
That's so crazy. What a blast from the past right there. Yeah. Those two dudes used to beat me up a lot together.
Oh, yeah. And I think they're both still training. I don't know about Eric. I know from what I understand, Adam's still training, but I don't know about Trudell. I know
Adam was the guy that would come in with 3 moves once a month and just like mop up the whole room.
Oh, yeah.
I got my fill.
His game.
This was nice.
Yeah. He was like, he's one of those guys that have like a handful of moves, but like he's like the best at those moves.
Just like not a jack of all trades necessarily at that point for sure. It was he did what he did, and you had to be able to stop it.
And his multiple years of like high school football, weightlifting, and stuff like that really kind of like came through.
He may have been the longest serving blue belt in history.
You think so?
I think so, because he was like 32 stripes too, if I recall.
The zebra belt.
Oh yeah, I think back on it.
I have to fact check that, but he was a blue belt for a long time too, if memory serves. Somebody here in the comments will remember that now.
Going to train naked.
They don't pay attention to me. Nobody from the old school loves me except for you, Travis.
Yeah. Oh no, I love.
You're my girl.
I'm opening up to the 10th planet system. I'm liking it. I'm digging it.
Thanks, man.
I'm
not the whole system though. I'm just your buddy.
Yeah. Well, I think like there's a big difference. One thing I feel about like no-gi is I feel like sometimes no-gi it's a little bit more forgiving.
Just take some.
I feel like no-gi's a little forgiving in some situations. Like you can get stuck in a position and sometimes you can kind of slip out of it, but like gi with the grips and everything like that, it's a little less.
Oh, is this what we're gonna do? So
is that what you're going?
When I was in a phone booth one time,
you're in a phone booth.
He slipped out of his coat.
What's a phone booth?
And he was naked under the coat. What did I need to do then? He just and got out.
In the phone booth? What are you talking about?
This is in the 80s.
Oh, okay. So you're fighting somebody in a phone booth?
I was definitely fighting people in the 80s for sure, 100%. They weren't adults though.
Well, I know there's a lot of young people in 10th Planet. So phone booths, what those were is they were these booths that people would go and pay money to call people, and now we all just have cell phones.
What a dated reference. People talk about fighting in a phone booth or whatever, that was a very common thing to say back in the day. Also old. Back in the day was.
Well, I mean, if you want to get in this conversation, so like if I'm fighting somebody in the streets, Steven,
What? So they take their shirt off, right?
Is that how you fight in the streets?
I mean,
Take your shirt off. Okay.
you can go through some videos on World Star. I think.
Okay.
Everybody
We go
takes their
somewhere.
shirt off before a fight in the streets, bro.
Oh, really? I don't know. I guess I haven't been in a lot of
You have to
street fights.
probably be
I'll
like,
tell you how
honestly,
I
you
get
probably
involved.
have to be like Eddie mostly with the pants and the rash guard or t-shirt or something like that.
Hey, man.
Because people wear jeans and stuff or whatever, and you could use the pants, so using the bottoms.
No.
Homie showed up this weekend in my first round that he had on gi pants, and hey, I went ahead and was like, he might be a leg locker, so I'm gonna just go ahead and assume
Just gonna
he's
go ahead
he's
and
got the confidence to come in
not.
here with gi pants on.
Nerd.
Yeah,
Can you wear the full gi?
I did it.
in
I did
PTF,
it.
or they-
I mean, why would you though?
you could if you
It
wanted
would not
to.
work out well. Like, did you ever do any of those Kukudos?
Yeah, I did.
Byron posted about that the other day too. I don't know. He probably not watching either. But Kukudo
Yeah.
was one of the first, not first, but one of the when the trend was really starting of submission only. They were the first ones over here in Georgia that were really doing it.
Yeah, and I remember. I'm not gonna. I won't say his name, but I remember there was a black belt that jumped in on the gi and the Kakudo when everybody else was doing no gi, and I don't think he. I think he made a little bit, maybe a few rounds. I think he was trying to do the so like Kakudo's awesome. Byron, bring it back. We miss it. People talk about it all
You're
the
right
time.
Here. You're right here.
So okay, Byron, bring it back. People miss it. People love it.
He's been looking around. Just no, he's like, he doesn't even know.
Is there a camera here? So people like every time you bring up Kakudo, people are like, I love it.
This
I
is the
miss
best
it.
show. Can you?
But I remember, I think he was in the invitational part because he would do the morning invitationals, and like he would have like a match. That was the first one we went to. The second one I went to, he actually held the invitational matches where they did the in a
the
different
invite
room.
tournament.
Yeah, they did it in a different room instead of before it. So
those are really cool, but they had the gi optional divisions.
they did. Yeah. Instead of
That
no
did-
gi, they just called it gi optional.
Well,
so
because you could wear a
but-
gi, and then the other guy could not wear a gi,
Yeah,
and so the people who were wearing gis,
they didn't do so.
they
well.
they lost to the people because the guys without the gi could use your gi against you, and it was like, so you can't use your gi against me that well if I don't have one,
Yeah.
but I can definitely use yours against you. So it's interesting, and so I can get into some good circular logic arguing with people about the gi versus no gi debate, just because it would be entertaining to me in a like private setting, where we were just like messing with each other, but not on the internet where everybody would think I'm being super serious either way.
Hey, I love both. Both of them are beneficial. Whether you do gi, no gi, they're both going to help you out. So, because not everybody takes
Very
their shirt off.
political correct.
I'm not going to take my shirt off if I fight you.
I'm not
gonna take
fighting
my shirt
anymore either. I'm gonna go get the pistol. I don't even have a pistol. But
Yeah,
it's a funny thing to say.
I'm mostly focused on karate chops. Like a lot of our jiu-jitsu training is karate chop in the neck.
It's like a ridge hand, or
I like the
Chicago
Judy chop. I guess
Chicago ridge hand.
Yeah.
is what Brandon's been teaching.
Well, 10th Planet, they call everything something different.
That's
Where I come from, it's
that's
the
that
karate
Alabama
chop,
Wing
okay?
Chun. That's not. Yeah.
Like it took me a while to
Ask
get
him
into
about a
some of,
puchagi.
Yeah.
some
I
of
don't
the
even know what that
terms.
means. It's like an inner crescent kick. Is that what it is?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, that's
Kicks you like on the
I've
inside.
seen too many videos.
See, now I'm confused.
Me too.
I don't know where y'all are at, but
We're all here in Warner Robins, Travis.
like
Did you
whenever
pass out again?
we were doing
Dustin Dennis is
He's
in here.
still at the triangle.
Yeah,
seminar.
He's rebooting again.
I'm coming out of the Matrix, like, whoa, 10 years have passed and we're still here, or 7.
I know kung fu.
Oh my god.
That's funny. I was listening to I was listening to y'all's last podcast. I was like, man, there's a lot of like Matrix references.
Was there?
It's like the spoon.
We could literally go anywhere.
Yeah.
It could go anywhere.
So, let's just
Kind of like
keep
in the
bringing.
Matrix.
Yeah. True.
It's weird.
Are we even really here? Are we?
I mean, you can say anything you want to say.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about this. Somebody just like built this whole thing and was like, "Hey, come talk into this microphone."
I'm digging it.
And we'll
I like the
record it.
podcast. I like the podcast world. I've listened to a lot of podcasts. I just haven't
This is
heard
technically
that
not a
one, so.
podcast. That Mandy might be commenting on it.
Oh.
It is a podcast.
Oh,
it
she's
is.
not, but she's okay.
You can find the podcast on
There is a podcast on Anchor.
Spotify.
And Spotify.
Oh, look.
And
Look, the crowd's going crazy. They love me.
it's just Mandy mostly. but
Mandy.
it's
Yeah, it's
Sierra
Mandy.
and-
No, your people are in there. Let's see.
Let's see. Move the mic. Your guest is here.
It's good. Uh-oh.
Who's Kirby?
Yeah,
Oh, that's my
everybody's
boy.
in there giving you directions.
You're hidden, Travis.
Oh,
they
okay.
can't see your beautiful.
No,
Yeah.
no. I
Oh,
fixed
you
it.
fixed it.
That's I said. I only
See?
have so many hands.
Look at him. My guy. Look at y'all. We're paying attention to y'all. Somebody throw some money into the chat. Do we have that fixed?
I don't think we can do super chat. If they want to throw it
Hey.
in there and it gives you the option, feel free.
Put up the Cash App thing, babes. Get them to send us some money for y'all in here.
Yeah. I don't have Cash App, but Venmo and PayPal.
We accept money any way you want to
Yeah.
send it, except for illegally.
I'll get Cash App if you want to send it to me.
Straight up. I
I'll
will
get it back.
download
I'll
it.
get it back.
Boom. It's it's just to get with the times, bro.
Well, I'm just going to tell you something. If your information gets stolen through Cash App, your bank will not touch it. I'm just going to tell you that.
True story.
True story. You report it stolen, they're not going to do anything.
gone.
They'll say, hey, you contact Cash App.
Yeah.
And then you contact Cash App and they're going to say,
Sorry about your luck.
contact your bank.
Yeah.
And now you're just calling them back and forth. So,
Yeah, that's about the truth with anything though, almost, unless you use like your card directly.
yeah.
I'm not monetized. I am monetized. If they send money to my accounts, then I'm monetized.
That's how that works.
No, what time is it? How long have we been going on this thing before we can keep? Because I can keep. This has been
I
fun.
Oh, you
Yeah, I
can keep
can talk
going.
to you guys
We're only
forever,
on 40.
yeah.
We're on the 40-minute mark
We're
right
at
now.
40 minutes now, Travis.
Okay.
So usually we go about an hour. So
We usually cut a hard hour, but I mean, the people here are
They're raving about
they're-
you.
Yeah, they're
You came in.
all
and
two of them are
he
begging.
made it. He
begging
made me
for more
think he
traffic.
wasn't gonna do a great job, right? When he came in, he was like, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah.
Like, you nerd.
I think we're
Came
losing
in
Mandy.
slaying. It's fine. She'll be
Not
good.
for you too, Valley.
She means silly. That's what she was trying to say, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
I got you, dog. I got you.
What you want to talk about?
Yeah. For you, gi stuff, no gi stuff.
Gi.
Have you ever done any fighting? MMA, kickboxing.
I've never fought, but I have trained. Like, so whenever I started training, I was doing it all. I was doing Muay Thai. I was doing the wrestling class. I was taking off work to train 3 times in a day, 2 times in a day, as much as I could. I was like, this is where I want to be. So pretty much ever since I started, I was like, this is what I want to do. I didn't know to what extent I wanted to do it, but it just kind of grew. Like as I started doing it, and kind of like the idea about opening a gym is, we came back from paternity leave from our first kid, and I was just doing the 8 to 5 or whatever, 9 to 5. I was doing that day, and like I just looked at Dana and I was like, hey, the world's crazy, right? So I was like, hey, why don't we're in a good place. Why don't I just leave and we homeschool our kids, or I homeschool the kids? And because her job's, I wouldn't say it's easy, but she has a good system. So she can, so like my job.
She's better at it than you are.
Yeah, she's way better at it. She's way better at a lot of stuff. She runs my social media and everything. She's really good. She's really good at what she does. So
She talks good.
So I was like, hey, you stay. I'll be a stay-at-home dad. And then so as the weeks grew, when we were getting to the point where I was about to leave, or about to like put in my notice, or I would say weeks before, but a few months before, we're like, hey, why just be a stay-at-home dad whenever I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 9 years? Why not go ahead and open up something closer? Because I'm driving 45 minutes to an hour to train. Either way, whether I go to Perry, Perry's a little bit closer, it's about 30 minutes, or I go to Rush, which is 45 minutes, depending on traffic. If 75's backed up, then it takes a longer time. So I was like, and there's nothing in Byron. There's no jiu-jitsu. I think there's a Christian karate academy in Byron, but that's it. But even when you Google that place, it's really hard to find. So I was like, I think their niche, like Byron, what I'm learning about Byron is Byron's a very tight-knit community, and like you really have to have your name spread out through word of mouth there. So I feel like even with all my Facebook advertising I'm doing, I'm like, oh, I need word of mouth. So it's good that my kids program's blowing up, because I have a lot of parents now that are like, hey, I like what you're doing with my kids. When can I, they're like, hey, let's get him kind of settled in, and then we'll start. So I have a bunch of adults that are starting to join or sign up because of the kids program. So
No, that's cool. That's cool. I think for us, we were a little bit able to build more of an adult program because of the past that I had down here a little bit, and then some contacts that I already had from before. But mostly kids programs in the smaller communities are where people really get going and build from there.
So my thought process was like, hey, if we open in the beginning of summer, parents are going to be looking for their kids to do stuff. So I was like, that'd be a good time to open. That way we can get some kids in there. But then I also didn't think like not only is it summer where parents are finding stuff, but they're also all going on vacation. So like you'll have a kid come for a week and they're like, hey, we're going on vacation for like a month or 2 weeks after next, and they're like, okay, well I'm not going to see you.
And then he's got camp, and then
yeah, right. So I was like, maybe I should have waited until school started, but I think it's good. They're building a big high school in Peach County, so apparently they're supposed to have a really big wrestling program. So I'm trying to reach out to some of those like wrestlers, like, hey, this is going to be a good base, and all of my jiu-jitsu is wrestling based because that's where I came from. So you should come and try us out. It'll help you out in your wrestling careers. So
it's true. It's true. Yeah, we're gonna try to do some of that too, getting into the Perry wrestling community a little bit, and then I spoke to the coach back in Bainbridge from my hometown, Chad, who's a buddy of mine, about maybe going down there once this year to kind of just do a little bit with their program too, because I think you're right. I think both can help each other out, giving those kids a little more information now, because not that the coaches are bad or whatever, but maybe they're not only doing grappling, they're also doing other things probably, so giving a few more technical like approaches to some grappling scenarios may be cool to some of the kids that are willing and ready to get like more technical and stuff. That would be cool. And then when they graduate from high school, if they don't go to college, then they'll stay local and they'll be looking for somewhere to train or whatever maybe. And if you already kind of have a relationship with them, you can kind of just segue into more grappling and keep that same kind of community vibe going for yourself and for them, and hopefully grow like that. Or then if they do go to college and come back, then try to get them then, and if not, whatever, at least you had an opportunity to help somebody, try to get better and do better, and grow the community, your personal community in Byron, which is cool, knowing that it's like a small town. I don't really think about it that much, because the only time I've ever been there is like when we're passing through on 75, so it's really interesting to think about that, as far as like it being its own like little micro community, you know what I mean? Like for a lot of people, again, like I say, it's just like a pass through on the interstate rather than like a place to stop and like be and live and have kids that go to school and all those things, so.
Yeah. And Byron's starting to grow. I think a lot of people are leaving Macon. Like I think people are leaving Macon, trying to find
that's why we're here.
Better school system. So that's why they like Peach County, because they're building a new high school. They just put up. I don't know if y'all seen it, but this place is huge.
I think I drove by.
So now that place is opening, there's a lot more. Like we just got a Chick-fil-A, we just got Dunkin' Donuts.
Shit.
So it's getting real.
Y'all got Starbucks though.
We don't have a Starbucks.
Boo.
Dunkin' Donuts is about to open. They just opened up Popeyes.
Dunkin' instead of Starbucks.
Yeah, I don't know if that's better. Yeah, I just I go with Old Faithful. I just have like
There's a funny joke there, but I'm not gonna. I like Dunkin'. If y'all want to give it.
I just stick with Folgers, and sometimes I'll buy the fancy coffee. So.
Hey, if anybody wants to sponsor the Dream Show, we could have Dunkin'
coffee.
Yeah,
any coffee. I had a sponsor, Death Wish Coffee, and they would probably still do it, but I just kind of quit making the pot coffee at home because we got an espresso pod thing. The new spell it out, baby, in the comments if you're watching that still. Verissimo one or whatever the new thing, and it'll like whip it up for you, and you can it'll make a couple different like size coffees or whatever and things like that. You get different flavors, so I've expanded my repertoire, so to say, for the coffee flex.
Does this go in the travel kit? Is that the one that went with? Yeah, this man travels with his Nespresso machine.
Oh.
Son.
Does it have a bag with the zipper and everything? Like special?
Oh, no. It's got its own, like, rolling
travel
suitcase.
Case? Oh, yeah.
Hey, listen, I know what I like, okay?
Taking it to Costa Rica with you?
No, they got good coffee down there.
Okay.
Yeah, that would almost be offensive to the coffee there, I would imagine.
There's good coffee down there for sure. So like y'all want to send your boy some shing right there. Yeah. I'll take it. You can hit up someone on Amazon and send it to my address at my house. I'm not gonna say it out loud, but if you want to follow me on Instagram, I could tell you where to send me some stuff. I like good bourbon too, actually.
You can send it to my place of business. I like bourbon too.
Oh.
Hey,
what's your favorite?
I just bought this whiskey called Peg Leg Porker.
Oh, I got that from my cousin.
I got the 8 year. Oh my gosh, that stuff is amazing. It's so
nice
good.
One. It doesn't. You would look at the bottle and you may not think so, right? It's just kind of like a plain.
Yeah, I was like, but like it's just so good. That and Usually now I'm buying that or Jefferson's, the sea barrel.
Ocean.
Age to sea.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Those are pretty
That
good.
sounds good.
All right, my guy.
Yeah.
Good, a couple
so
good
you
things
talk some
there.
bourbon, man. I've drank some bourbon. So
You have to come hang out at the farm again pretty soon.
Yeah.
Go out there and sit down and talk a little bit. Hang out. No, that's cool, man. I didn't know that. That's cool. I got some of that from my cousin for Christmas. We kind of did a bottle swap thing, and that's what he sent me was the peg leg, and I sent him that Henry McKenna 10-year. So,
Fancy.
and Mandy got me the Ocean for Christmas too. So I had a couple good bourbons there, which ruined my life because now I don't want to.
Yeah, bourbon's
Not
rough
have 'em.
because you're like. So I have a friend that he collects bourbon. He has like this whole shelf.
Oh, is he one of those
bourbons.
guys?
He's like, I drink an ounce to 2 ounces a night, and I was like, how do you stop there? Because it's so delicious. So I'm like, I just
Facts.
don't buy bottles. Like,
It do be hard though.
I buy like a bottle a month, and I'm like, okay, if you run out of this before,
Just drink
end
the
of
whole
month,
thing. I'm not collecting shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
that's
See,
just bad whiskey if you don't drink it.
some
all
of these
the
people
time.
are like $1,000 bottles of stuff. It's like I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to be living a different life to go that far.
Yeah, like Jesse's like
I'm
one
not
of
that
those-
dude.
I don't know if you know Jesse Reiner, but he's maybe he got his green belt, but he's like one of those people that collects them. He's like
Okay.
like he collects like the top shelf, like the top of the top shelf, like and he collects like everything.
They're really
and I'm
like hard to find
how do you
ones.
stop that? Yeah. So he's like,
I don't know, man. I don't know enough about it to spend that much money and feel justified because, like, I think we went up to about $100 a couple of times, and I don't taste the much difference between like 50 and 100.
yeah, right.
That's
You at least got to spend $50 on bourbon, guys.
I think
For
so.
those who you need
I
to
think-
learn,
I
if you
think,
want to
yeah.
try bourbon, you got to at least spend $50.
Buffalo Trace is a decent exception. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not joking. They don't sponsor me either. Damn it, that was a wasted opportunity. It's good. It's light flavored. You know what I mean? So like, if you're like a true bourbon guy, you may not like it that much because it's sweet, but it's a good mix in bourbon. for
My
sure.
father-in-law's the Buffalo Trace person, like up and down. Like
All
he
there
doesn't
is.
buy anything else. Yeah, he's,
I like Elijah Craig a lot lately. That's kind of what I've tasted more and gotten a good flavor out of. Or double oaked Woodford Reserve. That's a good one.
it sounds delicious.
Oh, I got that stuff from Opelika I told you about too.
Oh, yeah.
It's decent.
I've heard people talk about it.
I can't remember the name of it, but it's a double oaked bourbon that's made in Opelika, Alabama.
Is that red clay? Is that right?
I don't want to say it wrong, but it's like a little green label, I think.
Okay.
I think
But
I think
it's decent. It's pretty good. Not comparatively, to what I don't know. I don't know what it tastes like. It's I'm tasting notes of bullshit or whatever. I'm not that dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm drinking bourbon.
I'm
you
more
know.
like, hey, this
I'm
is
with it.
clean, smooth, and it doesn't have like a strong bite.
Hot
Yeah.
or
it's-
not.
It's like so. Yeah.
Spit hot fire.
I kind of find myself like doing that with wine now. I'm like, oh, I can taste. And I think it's just because of Dana. I'm like, oh, I can taste the cherry and the dark chocolate in this. But whiskey, I'm just like,
We did some of that in Macon. I think that's what started it. Is Mandy and I before we had the kids, we were up in Macon, and that little wine store off of Zebulon. I don't know if it's still there, but they would have little tastings or whatever, and we lived right up there.
I think it's still there. I think it made it.
We lived in Lake Wildhood, so we were just right there.
Such a great place.
It-
Wildwood.
Hey, it looked good on the brochure.
Yeah, it does.
And
It definitely
it was a
is the most
gated
misleading.
community, okay?
It's
I didn't
definitely
realize
the
that
most
it was
misleading community.
just to
you
be-
can
because you had to be
the
gated.
gate was more to keep things in and not so much of like let
Oh, there's
people
Roman street gangs out here. This is not this wasn't in the brochure.
Yeah. Like, oh, this is a great price
Jesus.
on a house. Yeah.
It was super cheap for us. It was close to the gym. My car broke down. I could ride my bicycle there.
Yeah. True.
Like a mountain bike that I was riding like 2 miles, 3 miles to the gym up there. My car was broken down
Yeah.
in the rain. Oh, see, y'all don't even know. Y'all don't want this shit. Y'all don't want to do this.
Struggle was real.
Was it uphill both ways too?
Of course, son. And one time it was on a slope. So
Grandpa Boogie told me you were lying.
Boogie, he don't know anything about nothing. He ain't live in the South. It's humid out here.
Yeah, California's nice. They don't have seasons. They just got
It's just mild. You
Yeah,
can wear
just mild.
hoodies all year.
all year.
72 and beautiful in San Diego out there. It did get hot for like 3 days a year in July.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God. And then it was just like,
I've been cold every time I've been to the West Coast in the last 3 years, and so I've been angry.
it's a different vibe. Hey, it's better for the training when you have that little bit of hate in your heart, though.
That is true.
Yeah. Man, I haven't been to California since I think like 2002. When I was in the
Step your game
I
up.
was a tuba player for 7 years in the band, and we did the Blockbuster parade. What Blockbuster is,
Like
kids?
the movies.
Blockbuster is a place where we used to walk in and rent movies. Like you
You'd-
couldn't stream everything back then. So yeah,
You'd,
it was
like,
a
rent a movie.
Blockbuster parade. Yeah.
Wow, like Redbox.
Yeah.
It's like a big whole place for this one little machine.
Yeah, it's like a building red box. That's you actually had to talk to
And
people
it
to
was
rent your
huge.
films.
And you had to rewind the tape. But,
Yeah.
that was, you know,
Or find.
wow, what a time to be alive. Why are we so old?
I don't know.
That made my head hurt. I really did. I just had to like scratch my forehead thinking about that.
Yeah, I didn't realize how old I was. Until
Travis the tuba player.
Yeah. Somebody posted something
I'm
the other
not
day and it
surprised.
said it was like a game. It was like a gaming conference, and it said I can't remember but it had like a Nintendo Dreamcast or had like a Sega Dreamcast, a Nintendo GameCube, and this other thing. And somebody's like, "What's a Dreamcast?" And I was like,
Oh.
"Man, like how."
Did you
Getting
like
so
the
old.
Did you like the Dreamcast?
No, I didn't, but
I
I,
hated
was
the
like, that's why I guess why I didn't do so well. But I remember there was like one game that everybody played on. It was like Taxi Cab.
Yeah.
That was like the only game they really.
When did that come
people
out?
actually. That'd be late 90s.
I think I lived too far out in the country. I didn't have a Dreamcast.
Nobody,
I
but like
didn't- oh,
I didn't,
nobody had
I
one.
didn't have one either. But
was
like,
always
I
a friend
had a
that had
homie
one,
that
yeah.
had one.
I didn't live close enough to
You never had
homes.
one. You always had a
Yeah,
friend.
Okay.
There were no homies.
Yeah.
Kids were like riding skateboards and shit. I was like, how do y'all ride skateboards? I would get a skateboard. It's like,
Oh,
you live
yeah.
on a fucking dirt road, dude. Come on.
Yeah, you can't
Skateboard.
That's why I never.
Try to play basketball, you dribbling on like tree roots and shit.
Yeah, I always wore the clothes, but I was like, how do you learn to skateboard? There was no skate parks where I grew up at, and it was all.
You're in the
like,
mountains,
this
right?
dirt. Yeah,
That
I
would
grew
be
up in LJ,
tight.
Georgia. So, yeah. Now they have. I don't know. They might have that stuff. I haven't been there.
Kind of like
Wow.
learning how to swim. You just jump down one of those mountains
Yeah.
on a skateboard and you either just learn or like die.
Right.
And it doesn't matter then.
Yeah. And then like
The
when you
hard
play
way.
basketball on the tree roots and you hit the tree root wrong and the basketball shoots off and
It
A
upped the
mile in one
difficulty
direction.
level, right?
Yeah.
You know, it made it a little bit more special when you could actually get the ball where it needed to go.
right.
But it was kind of bad for me when I tried to go play basketball at the school because then they told me I had to actually dribble, and I was like,
Yeah.
"No, son,
Kirby Eakins said hockey.
hockey."
Yeah.
Then I play hockey, Kirby. It's too hot
No
down
one,
here.
yeah.
That was, we
Georgia-
played street. Y'all
Georgia's
didn't play
done with
street
that.
hockey.
Street hockey.
Well, okay, same problem. No street.
I had a.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a dirt road, and me and my brother Brian, we used to play like there was just two of us, so we would just play home run derby, and so like our yard had like this hay field behind it, and so we just like I don't know, it was probably like 50 feet or something, but in my mind it was like 6,000 feet.
You were knocking it
And,
over the green giant.
He was. I wasn't ever really that big of a hitter. Unfortunately, I was more of the strategery guy always. I've never been like the power player. You know, despite what this beautiful, strong body I have, it's I never have been the best athlete. Unfortunately, so I would lose home run derby a lot, and so then I would just try to fight him because I was mad. That's how life was in the country. It was cool. Hockey though, that's like field hockey. I guess that was the only for like ladies. They didn't really have hockey for dudes.
I've honestly never once seen an entire game of field hockey.
It was like lacrosse, I guess. If you
Lacrosse is those are some crazy people that play that sport.
water polo.
I have played that, and that is where I got my love for jiu-jitsu. I've almost been drowned by upperclassmen as a freshman trying to play water polo on the swim team.
As I was getting ready to move from San Diego the last while there, they started doing some of that training, like they called it deep in fitness. Elima McFarland, she was the Bellator champion, the women's champion, started doing some of it, and they were playing like underwater, like soccer or whatever with like this little dart
the
thing or
torpedo?
whatever. Yeah, torpedo league.
yeah,
Underwater torpedo
yeah,
league. That's what it was
yeah,
called.
yeah.
And they were grappling underneath
Yeah.
the water and then coming back to training, and they're like, "You should come and try this." It's like, no, I'm too big for that. I'm way too big for that, dog. I'm not dying out here.
We'd
for
have
that.
to be really cool for me to do that with you, because like you gotta let go.
Listen,
when I say let go,
Listen,
let
no,
go.
No. I'm a shark, but the land is my ocean. That's
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Why are y'all trying to take that away? You can't put me back in the water, bro. I've evolved past that.
Right.
I'm now a land shark. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've got some competition ideas for out
I
of the
can't-
land because we got one of those mats that like floats on top of the water.
See, now
Yeah.
I can do some of that because it's not under the water, right? If you go under the water, you got to let me go, dog. I'm gonna have to shank you or something.
That's when
Might
biting.
give
and
him that old
gouging.
twist
Yeah.
or something. I don't know. Hey, if it's him or me, it's got to be
It
him.
seems to be the greatest move ever because it gets called for at every MMA fight.
I'm
so.
just-
Yeah.
I don't know, but that would be fun. Yes, we talked about that. The pad, at your lake or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. You want to come do a grappling match on a lake, like on the lake?
Sure. Why not? How
We
thick
can't
are
pay
these
you
mats?
anything. There, it's a 13-foot deep lake, or I don't know, speculation.
Like
Numbers.
pretty deep depending on what lake you go to.
Listen, the
don't know.
pad doesn't have to be. You're on a waterbed.
Okay. I'll try.
Right?
I'll try.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
let
the
me know.
idea.
Let me
That's
know.
the
Slams
thought
are legal.
process.
What's up?
Did we ever figure?
Can you wrestle?
I don't know. We've
Ooh.
got to build the pad to
Y'all
make
should
it
start
work.
with like a pool and then see.
Nah, man.
What? No,
That's
we
not
go
even
off,
a real
off,
test.
off the deep end. Off the
Say,
deep end.
What is this, a grappling match for ants? No, son. We're going all the way. I'm with this. We got to go out there and try to camp this out now.
Oh yeah.
I still owe a trip out there to the land.
We'll be
for
out there.
Thomas. So,
Wait,
goes
what?
to- oh, I was gonna go camping. He's talking about like this is for real.
Where's the lake at? What lake
It's
is
in
that?
Alabama. It's Lake
That's-
Mitchell.
That's the dangerous part, right? You gotta
Oh
go.
yeah,
to
you gotta
Alabama.
go to Alabama. Yeah.
They're cool though so far. Like the natives, they've been really like receptive. Yeah.
I did an AGF tournament. And the natives were really nice. The natives. It was in Columbus, but a
It's
lot of
weird.
people
They're a
from
lot
Columbus.
like us in some ways.
Yeah, it was
different,
weird.
but
I
you
thought
know,
it was gonna be a lot different, but they were very similar.
they say weird like things, roll tide or something. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like amen at church kind of. You know, just like oaths.
Roll Tide,
Yeah,
Roll Tide.
it's kind of like oaths,
When they bow
right?
out.
You're not a roll tider though, huh?
No, I mean, you have to declare a side. So my family origin is
uh-oh.
War Eagle.
Oh, people are watching, so he had.
So I have
he had
to-
did you see him have to sit up straight?
I have to put it out there. But I mean, I went to school and played at Kentucky, so like I kind of swear
Oh,
a neutral.
he's a wildcat.
complex there. Yeah, which their football doesn't matter.
Didn't you have family in Kentucky?
Oh yeah, all my family's from.
That's what I thought. Yeah, he's down
Yeah.
from the holler.
Yeah, the deep hollers.
The
Like,
deep holler.
hollers.
deep hollers.
See,
Bro,
I-
people don't know about the Kentucky hollers.
Hey man,
It's just a joke I've heard. I don't know.
the drive back in those hollers are like some of the most dangerous. Like as a kid, I was like, oh, this is fine. But as an adult driving back in those hollers, I was like, I don't know how we made it. Like 23, like I was like 24 driving through them. I was like, I don't know how I made it
You just learned
this
right?
long because like there's like 1 lane roads and they only give you enough just to kind of get over enough to put your tire in there
That's how you learn.
and get around. I was like, but like the other side's just a fall off, like a 5-foot fall off, and I was like, how do people not just wreck all the time? Like
What? Yeah.
I
Because
would
they
think
know.
driving up through here there would just be cars like all in these like ditches.
And then like what is it? Is it Red River Gorge? Is that right?
Yeah.
It's like there's like pass throughs through the like you're going down the highway and then like through the mountain there's like a hole cut just big enough for one car to fit. Nobody slows down. They just hit that thing. You just move to the middle and go through it.
Just make sure you honk your horn when you're on one side. That way somebody can.
This is in
respond.
Kentucky.
See, I didn't know about the horn part. Somebody should have told
That's
me.
what
about
I.
the horn.
That's what I always been. That's
So
what I
there's-
always do if there's a.
There's
one-way.
places like that in Costa Rica too, where like there's a 1-lane bridge basically, and
Yeah.
you'll have to like honk it out. Apparently, that's what Kirby's been telling me about.
People back up. And,
Samurai. Well, just like sometimes, yeah, you have to like make an agreement about who's gonna do what here, which is really cool. It's interesting I didn't know in Kentucky y'all were like that. Y'all are weird, but
Yeah,
if you learn that way, then that's all
the
you know. Then it's not weird.
eastern part of Kentucky. I think the western part of Kentucky is a little bit more civilized than the eastern.
I was gonna say that like the western corner of Kentucky was the first place that I ever met somebody who had never heard of the interstate. Like we
West
got lost.
Kentucky.
We got lost like up in that like top corner or whatever.
Yeah.
and
What's
we
up
were
there?
like,
Is that
"Can you point us
Ohio?"
to it's Ohio and yeah. What else is right there?
So the eastern part, the eastern part of Kentucky is like where West Virginia, and everything like West. You pretty much got your Blue Ridge Mountains,
Okay.
like West Virginia,
That's right.
Ohio's right there. I think Pennsylvania's like right above it, but it
Like Michigan and stuff.
geography with Steven.
Yeah.
Is that Indiana?
Guys, this might be completely wrong. We're going to get torn apart on this one. Indiana's right there beside
I think
Ohio.
it's Indiana, right?
Yeah. Because there's the Kentuckiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Kentuckiana
sounds
area.
right.
Yeah.
Holler at your boy. What's
Yeah, we
up?
got this, we got
What's
it.
up? I won the geography being 7th grade. I beat the whole school.
We're putting the puzzles together.
And there was 8th graders in it. What's up? What's up?
Yeah, but Kentucky, and it's kind of cool. Like, when I go up there now, like I have my cousins, they're all homeschooled, but they have a little gym up there that they train at, and there's some pretty good guys up there, man.
The homeschool
They
jiu-jitsu.
just kind of like a couple guys just started to get together and just roll, and they're under Brian Jones, I think, under Carlson Gracie Jr. Brian Jones is
Not
good.
familiar.
They're,
Okay,
some good
cool,
guys,
cool.
man. There's
They,
some
they
good Kentucky
homeschool
jiu-jitsu
for
guys. If
jiu-jitsu.
If anybody here is from Kentucky, you gotta look for it, but you can find it.
It's down in the deep holler.
Yeah.
You got to run through the tunnel.
So the school they train at,
Honk twice.
it's a school that shut down, but you can rent individual classrooms. So they had, well, I don't know now. The last time I went, this is where they were at, but you rent individual classrooms, and they had taken a school classroom and just put mats on the floor, and that's where they were training at the last time I was up there. I was like, that's awesome.
Sick.
So yeah, it was really cool.
Sounds pretty cool.
Instead of like tearing down the school, they just like, hey, you can rent it out. Rent out each individual room for different things, and they rented it out to do jiu-jitsu in. So that's pretty cool. So there's like a chalkboard, mats.
It's already just ready to go,
Yeah.
right? It's already
Yeah.
a classroom.
Yeah,
That's
so.
crazy. That's pretty cool. What time are we at? I think I'm probably about.
We're right at an hour.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I got to start getting ready for gymnastics in a second. You, sir, what do you want to say? Anything? Talk about yourself anymore?
Plug your people, your socials.
Thank anyone?
Yeah. Well, thanks to everybody. It was fun being here. I'm definitely have to come back because I was like, man, we didn't even talk about my farm. My farm's a big thing. So I'll just kind of plug my so we're Burton Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Byron, Georgia. Check out our website. It's burtonbrazilianjiu-jitsu.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Burton Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, everything. So check us out, man.
Cool. Yeah, definitely check them out if you're in and around the Byron area. Travis was and has been coaching kids for several years now, for sure. He also has been training with and coaching adults for several years now. So check them out. They're good people. They really are a great family. We've known them for a long time, and we go hang out with them at their house and stuff. So like they're great people. So I think highly recommend if you guys want to come and check them out. Otherwise, for us, thank you to Matt Viper for helping us out, getting us ready going for the Mid-South Classic coming up on July 31st. We're going to do 185 open weight, and then we pivoted hard into the 155.
I'm too big for that.
Blue belts, dudes. And you're not a blue belt dude anymore either. You're a brown belt guy. So you might beat these guys, though. So
The blue belt?
maybe.
Sneak
The
in there.
150 with the 155 blue belts, I think you got
I
a
swear
chance.
I'm a blue belt. I
know.
promise.
But what's cool and what's crazy about that is we got some really good names coming for the 185, but then we got some people traveling to come to this blue belt one a little bit. One of the guys from Finishers is coming down from Pennsylvania to get into the blue belt tournament.
Is that guy from Tech competing? The guy that
Jay, who got the twister and the
time.
Mid-South, so he's in there. We got some guys, local guys, Andrew Miller. I don't want to keep
he's
dropping
in
names
there.
because then people are gonna start dropping out. We keep telling everybody who's in it.
Don't be
People
scared.
are gonna start
Don't be
popping
scared.
knees.
Like
But
Steven-
listen, that's something I saw the other day too. People were talking about that. I've had people pull out on me once they saw I was their first round opponent because they didn't think they could win or whatever the case was. And don't do that. That's not cool. That's kind of a buster response to things. Go out there and put it on the line, man. You never know if you can beat somebody or not. I've won and lost to people that I should or shouldn't have before, but just going out there and that's the only way you'll know. So if you ever shy away from a match with somebody that you think is gonna beat you, then I think you already learned a lot right there about yourself. So don't do that. Just go out there and compete. Let it be what it's gonna be. If you win, lose, or draw, it is what it is. So Matt Viper, thank you to those guys. The Musgrove Trial Firm, dang it, I was supposed to have their phone number in front of me, but you call them up, I'll get their number. I promise. I'll hit me up. I'll give you their number. I got it. It's my cousin. He's a trial attorney, and he'll help you out if you've
Is
been
he
in
in Perry,
accidents.
Georgia?
He's in Atlanta, but he can help you if you're in Perry or Byron
Well,
or
yeah.
Macon,
I guess you're
anywhere from top to bottom, east to west, left to right. If you got sheath underwear on, you don't get a discount from a Musgrove trial firm, but you'll be more comfortable when you're sweating it out a little bit until you get the verdict of a good, strong victory with them. But so
Mid-South saves 20.
Mid-South saves 20. Have you ever had some of those underwear before with the little ball hammocks
I hear a
things?
lot. I listened to Tony Hitchcock's podcast.
It's interesting, man.
And Sheath Underwear is sponsoring them, and I was like,
Oh,
is it
okay.
really that great? Is it amazing?
I have some, man, and I'm telling you that at first when we got them, it wasn't that hot outside, and so I was pretty skeptical. But then I went and did some yard work, and when I was outside,
I'm doing a lot.
and I was in the yard. It's
doing a
humid.
lot of damn yard
It's
work.
humid out here, and I was like, oh, I feel some breeze in there. It's important to make sure you got some air in there, and I think Sheath does a good job of giving you some lift and some a breeze. You know, you don't want to get chafed up or whatever. That's the worst. So thanks to
I might
them.
have to break down and buy a pair.
Yeah, we'll get you a pair. How about that? We'll get you a pair. We got some coming in from Sheath, and then you can definitely buy you a pair too.
Yeah.
Using
Because I do a lot of yard work.
Mid-South.
I have 10 acres, so I
saves
do a lot of yard
He
work.
wants to talk about this farm, so we're gonna have him back to talk about the family.
No, I have to come in and talk about the farm.
Dude, this was really fun. Honestly, like this is super fun. Now we can just do it all the time with Travis in here and just keep talking about Travis stuff.
Yeah, I have a lot going on, so we got plenty of content.
Super cool. But yeah, Sheath Underwear, Works Bookkeeping and Accounting, Circle W Farms, the Peach Podcast Syndicate. That's this. This is the studio here at Parkway Automotive Studios. It's the Peach Podcast Syndicate.
I dig it. I like it, man.
They have several shows that they run out of here.
Okay.
They kind of engineered and stuff. So if you know anybody or if you have some ideas and you may want to do your own show in here, you can come and hit them up. You could hit up Isaac. He's the Daily Stack on Instagram and stuff. So they have different like options and things like that for producing different types of shows for people. So definitely like, hey, this is what we're doing in here. So you can come in and do the same thing that I'm doing if you think you have a community of people that you want to try to get to, no matter what it's into. I think you guys have a knife making show also right now or something like that.
There's a guy that makes knives that has a podcast that comes out of here.
Whatever your niche is, like the farm, like, you know what I'm saying? You should just hit them up, you know, and it's like farming and different things. Like people are into whatever you're into, right? There's somebody like you out there, no matter how weird you think you are, but you may not be able to publish exactly how weird you are, but there's somebody out there like you, so don't feel too bad. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Too many people.
That's great.
Anything else?
Nope.
Much love. Peace.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines. 1, 2.